Have you ever wondered how a massive company, a real giant, takes a huge, ambitious vision and actually turns it into a plan that works? Well, today we're getting an inside look. We're tearing down the internal playbook of VietDak, a coffee titan, to see exactly how they're lining up their entire executive team to hit some mind-boggling goals by 2026. This is a total masterclass in turning strategy into action.
All right, let's dive right in with the first pillar of this whole thing. The entire strategy, everything we're about to talk about, is built around one single audacious number: selling 1 million tons of coffee. That's it. That's the North Star for the entire company.
But, volume by itself is just a number on a page. That 1 million tons has to translate into serious cash. So the next target is an absolutely colossal 242 trillion Vietnamese dong in revenue. To put that in perspective for you, that's over $9.5 billion US. And here's the most crucial part, right? There's an old saying, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. So the real bottom line goal is to generate nearly 17 trillion dong in net profit. This is all about proving that this incredible scale can also be incredibly profitable. So how do you actually hold a CEO accountable for a vision this massive? You do it with a scorecard. And this, right here, this perfectly illustrates their entire mission. You can see it's not just about the big volume and profit numbers, it's also about strategic growth in areas like processed coffee, hitting key digitalization milestones, and this is critical, making sure the whole company is working together like a well-oiled machine. The CEO is the conductor of this orchestra, and this is their sheet music. So here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with the leadership team itself, then we'll look at their growth engine, the operations that have to support it all, the safety nets that keep it on track, and finally, how they launch this whole thing into the real world. A strategy is only as good as the team that has to execute it. So let's meet the key players in VietDak's C-suite and get a really clear picture of their specific missions. The best way to think about it is like an orchestra. The CEO is the conductor, of course, but every single section has a vital role to play. You've got the chief financial officer, the CFO, who makes sure the money is there and it's being used wisely. The chief commercial officer, the CCO, is responsible for actually selling the coffee. The chief marketing officer, or CMO, is the one who makes people want to buy it. And of course, the chief operating officer, the COO, makes sure the coffee actually gets grown, made, and delivered. Each role is totally distinct, but they are completely dependent on each other. Okay, let's zoom in on the front lines of this plan, the engine that's supposed to generate all that massive revenue. This is the world of the chief commercial officer and the chief marketing officer. The mission for the chief commercial officer? It's brutally simple and direct. Sell coffee, more of it for more money in more places to more people. There's absolutely no ambiguity here. This is all about pure, relentless commercial execution. Now, this is what I find fascinating. Look at the weighting here. The single biggest piece of the CCO's bonus, a full 20%, is tied directly to hitting that 1 million ton sales volume target. That shows you just how intense the focus is, right from the top, on that one headline number. So while the CCO is out there pushing product into the market, the chief marketing officer's job is to create the pull. Their mission is all about building a brand that people actually care about, creating new products that people get excited for, and making sure that every single dollar they spend on marketing is working as hard as it possibly can. And you can see that balance reflected perfectly in the CMO's priorities. It's an almost equal split between long-term brand building, the immediate financial hit from new products, and pure efficiency, which they measure by something called ROMI. That's return on marketing investment. But here's the thing, fantastic marketing and a killer sales team are totally useless if you can't actually make the product or if you run out of money. So let's look at the backbone of this entire operation, the COO and the CFO. The chief operating officer basically owns the entire physical journey of the coffee. We're talking from securing the raw beans and managing the farms and suppliers to running the factories, locking down quality control, and handling all the complex logistics. Seriously, if a coffee bean moves, it's the COO's responsibility. And would you look at that? The COO's #1 priority, with the heaviest weighting, ensuring the total supply of, you guessed it, 1 million tons. This is the very first link in the entire chain. If the COO can't get their hands on the raw materials, the CCO has nothing to sell and the whole plan just completely falls apart.
All right, next up is the Chief Financial Officer. Their job is to be the ultimate guardian of the company's financial health. And it's so much more than just counting the profits. It's about making sure the business is stable, it's secure, and that it's investing its capital in the smartest way possible. And this slide reveals the CFO's true focus. Look at the top priority, weighted at 15%. It's not profit, it's cash flow. So why is that? Well, you can be profitable on paper, but go bankrupt tomorrow if you run out of actual cash. For the CFO, cash is king, because cash is the fuel for all of this ambitious growth.
Okay, a plan this ambitious, this complex, has a million different ways it could go off the rails. And that's exactly why they built in a safety net, a system to know early, very early, if things are starting to go wrong.
They do it with something called red alert thresholds. And these aren't just vague feelings or concerns. These are hard, data-driven tripwires. If one of these thresholds is crossed, it immediately signals that a core part of the plan is in serious danger. Let's just take a look at the financial side. A key target might be to always keep cash flow positive. But the red alert says if cash flow turns negative for 2 months straight, that's not just a problem. It's a full-blown emergency. The system automatically flags it, forcing everyone to pay attention before it spirals out of control. And it's the exact same idea for the sales team. If monthly sales dip below 85% of the plan for even 1 month, boom, it's an immediate red alert. They don't wait around for a bad quarter to see how things shake out. They act on a bad month. This lets them jump on problems while they're still small and manageable. So, we've seen the grand plan, we've met the players, and we've checked out the safety nets. But, a plan is just a document until people actually do something. So let's see how VietDak takes this strategy off the paper and launches it into reality. And they move with incredible speed. Within just 1 week, the entire executive team has to deliver their core action plans. By week 2, those plans are already broken down and handed off to their direct reports. And by day 30, the whole system is live. Leaders have literally signed commitment contracts, data is flowing to dashboards in real time, and the most critical new processes are already up and running. This isn't a slow rollout, it's a full-on blitz. Now, this level of detail and accountability is an incredibly powerful way to execute a strategy, but it leaves us with one last, really fascinating question. When every single leader's performance and bonus is tied directly to a number on a scorecard, does that create a culture of perfect alignment where everyone is pulling in the exact same direction? Or does it risk creating a culture of fear where hitting the number becomes the only thing that matters? It's a powerful, powerful tool, but one that takes masterful leadership to get right.